Hello, thank you for joining us today. My name is Carlene.
And I'm Jay. We're also known as Jaylene.
On this channel, we recap and provide our reviews for Married at First Sight.
Today, we'll be reviewing episode 19, Sex, Lies, and Questionable Behavior.
Welcome to our first-time viewers, and welcome back to those who have been with us before. Thank you to those who subscribe, but if you haven't, please do so now. And don't forget to click that notification bell. We're going to start off with Becca and Austin. So the couple, they were at this pottery place, and Becca is still confused if Austin likes her. So we already know that on camera he's acting one way, and then off cameras he's acting another way. And Austin apologizes and tries to tell Becca that he does like her, and also to trust whatever he's saying, even if it is a lie.
To me, Becca seems like she's broken. And I don't like how Austin is trying to say you should trust me and trust my intentions, where he's acting like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde here. So he's too concerned about how he's coming off or being portrayed on camera. If he really cared about Becca in this marriage, I wouldn't be bringing up how I'm coming across off camera. Your job is not for having us, the audience, like you. It's your job to have your wife like you. So that's my beef with Austin in this particular situation. I feel if he doesn't like her, just let her know. I'm like, what is it with the guys this season where they just can't man up and just say, I'm not feeling you that way. I understand that it's a process. I don't know how much of it is in the contract where they have to be there or act like they're showing effort. But if it's not beneficial for both parties and only one person really putting in the effort, you're wasting everyone's time.
But Austin feels that any effort that he's actually making isn't good enough for Becca. And Becca believes that Austin's disagreements are combative. So it seems like to him, whenever she says something, she just wants him to say, okay. Maybe she liked when Austin would give those one-word answers and just keeping things on a surface level.
Here, this is where I think she's not happy that he doesn't speak, but when he does speak, she don't like what he's saying. It's just, I don't feel he's being authentic of who he really is. And I just think it's not fair for both of them. It's like one person wants, I think Becca wants it too much, and Austin just doesn't want it at all. I think it's more he's not physically attracted to her. That's just my opinion. So now Becca, she got cold and she wanted to get Austin's jacket, but because her jacket was not thin enough or thick enough to keep her warm. And Austin passively aggressively, I took it as he's telling her, can you at least wash your hands before you grab my jacket? Pretty much he's the one her touching the jacket. And I felt that come across as there's other underlining issues that they're really not talking about, which they really need to, and it's more on Austin's end, where he's not conveying what he really wants. And Becca at this point, she is fed up, and so she's just getting stuff off her chest instead of holding it in, which I'm finally happy that she's doing. But I think Austin could have went across that jacket thing a different way. He could have said, hey, before you grab my jacket, can you please, wash your hands? I don't want to get the clay on my jacket. Or he could have put the jacket around her shoulders and then asked her to wash her hands before she can put her arms in the sleeves. For me, I just feel, I didn't think that was a big deal. It's like, if the clay can come off and be washed off easily, Austin's not a big deal. But that's just me. Other people may have different opinions on that.
I just thought that she got upset and was storming out the room. Was I the only one who was confused? Yeah, I think Austin was doing too much with the jacket. It's just a jacket, right? You can wash it. If your wife's cold, let her wear the jacket.
And then we had Becca meeting with her friend. I felt that conversation was more genuine than the one Austin had with his friend. I felt Becca and her friend were more real. I felt she was letting her know that if this roles were reversed and her friend was in her shoes, she would tell her that's not my person and to leave the relationship. And I completely agree. I feel if they were dating and not married, I think Becca would not try as hard to try to make something work where it's clearly not working and Austin really wants out. During the Austin and his friend's conversation, I felt like the friend was pretty much trying to tell him, don't change yourself to be with someone who you really don't want to be with in the first place. I felt that was more production led because that conversation to me just didn't feel genuine. It felt forced just to have something on the camera. And Austin will seem like, I'm going to try where I want to put in the effort, but you're not putting in any effort to care for your wife at all. I don't know if it's a Colorado thing or what, but yeah, that just seemed off to me.
Then Becca and Austin were having this disagreement about how Becca is ruining Austin's character on camera. Maybe he's just sensitive with words.
This is what I've been missing from this season, where we'll actually see clips and audio from the actual apartment for the couples. And he's just so concerned about how he's coming off on a camera. And if you were acting different and actually putting in an effort for your wife and not based on trying to get your 15 minutes of fame or whatever it is that you're trying to do, I wouldn't think that part would be an issue. Could you be too focused on your marriage and not how you're coming across on camera? People are going to judge you one way or another. Everyone's not going to like you. That's something I grew up knowing, so I don't care if someone likes me or not like me. It's not relevant to me. But after that conversation, apparently he packed up and left the apartment. In the one-on-one with one of the producers, I guess the next day, Becca explained that, and then she said something. She said he doesn't care about the relationship. Then she kind of corrected herself and said something different. Like, he does care. So I'm like, which one is it? Does he care or does he not care? Because her initial slip up, I believe that one over the one she tried to correct herself and try to think about, oh, I just said this. It's going to make Austin look bad on camera. That's how I took it. So I went with her first initial slip up.
Yes, that's exactly what she did. She thought about it like, oh, here's something else that Austin is going to be upset about. So that's why she changed it. Now we have Chloe and Michael. When the couple was meeting with Dr. Pia, why were they sitting so far apart? Chloe believes that they are being their true selves.
So I was very surprised with their conversation with Dr. Pia. She's coming out asking them, have they masturbated with each other? I'm like, man, we just jumping right into this, aren't we? But to my surprise, that they were actually more touchy with each other than I initially thought, based on how she was concerned about the way he dressed and his feminine side and stuff like that. So I'm kind of surprised how well they're getting along. So that's nice to see, especially for this season. Like, give us some hope, give us something to root for. But granted, they're not going to stay together. We can all see that coming down the pipeline. But the sex store visit, that was interesting, because apparently he doesn't go to sex stores, and Chloe's in like an OG of going to a sex store. So that was an interesting back and forth that they had going there. And then we had them later on at night, because Dr. Pia sent them there to get 3 things that they can use in the bedroom and stuff like that. So she got her dildo that she wanted, and apparently Michael got something that he needs to try out in front of Chloe with the lights out. So that was they cut that off before we got to see whatever was going on there. But I don't think that was necessary. We need to know that kind of information, but I enjoy seeing them on camera. I like their back and forth, their banter a little bit. So it's just nice to see some couples not falling apart and not having these dumb arguments and actually can communicate effectively. But that's what you get when you have an older couple, not all these people who shouldn't be on the show in the first place.
Okay, Emily and Brennan. While at dinner, Brennan was back to his usual self. He just gave Emily this crazy stare. You know, like when she does something that I guess he doesn't approve of, he just looks at her. So she was complimenting the waiter on the presentation of their meal, and I guess he didn't like that.
All right, so when it comes to Brennan, this is what I felt he should have done. I think he should have let her know, like point blank, period. Spell it out for her. At the couples retreat, when he was like, separate bedrooms, right? I felt then, if you know you don't want to be in this marriage, tell her that clearly then. Because if you would have done that, I don't feel they would have went on that little RV thing. And she wouldn't have gotten into an accident. And she wouldn't have felt that they were starting to bond over that experience. And then give her hope that there was something to look forward to in their relationship. I felt he couldn't tell her that after that incident just because she's recovering. But I wish she would have just like nipped that in the butt, like right then, knowing she was getting hope for them. And we all can see that he was just being nice and didn't want to leave her in her time of need. But I didn't like how he just started reaching for and grasping at straws, trying to let her know now at this dinner that I don't want to be married to you. And for all counts and purposes, saying my deal breaker was someone who's not positive. And I look at it, I was like, I like her as a person. Initially I thought she was gonna be an issue on this show, but she's actually putting in the effort that you need to be on this type of show during this experiment. So I give her a lot of credit, and I felt the way she has been on the after party like the last several weeks, I wish you'd have got that Emily during this season, because you can tell that she was kind of fed up at that point, and she wasn't just trying to go along to get along.
Brennan said he felt like his efforts weren't being mentioned, and he didn't like Emily's negativity. So this caused Emily to leave the table. She was crying in the restroom on the floor. And Emily talked about how it's Brennan's actions that cause her to be angry. And he just kept saying, be positive. Can't you say something positive? I know he even brought up her making fun of Michael's vows to Chloe. So he was reaching for, I guess anything that he didn't like. And he said that's why he didn't want to share any of these things before, because he knew it was going to hurt her feelings.
But we take it back to the episode where I think it was Dr. P was there, and or Pastor K, I really can't remember. But the point where she was asking him questions and he didn't want to give any answers. And he's like, I don't want to hurt your feelings, so I'm not going to say anything, which ended up hurting her feelings anyway. If someone is telling you, yes, you may hurt my feelings, but I'd rather know the truth, and you just dance around stuff and not tell me anything, I find it to be very disrespectful. Like, let that person deal with it in their way. Granted, like the way she was looking, I was mad as well. And I'm not even her going through the situation, because she looked like she wanted to strangle him at that table, the way her face was looking. And I don't blame her.
Then Claire and Emily had a conversation, and Claire told Emily how Brennan is asking to go on double dates with Cameron.
Yeah, so it seems like Brennan and Cameron have some type of bond, especially we can see in the last episode or the episode before that. And you can tell, it seems like just Brennan, he's just not at the apartment in general. So that's where he can go out on these dates and stuff like that. So when Claire lets Emily know about this, and then Emily confronts Brennan about this over FaceTime, he denied it and then said he was joking. It's like, my issue with these guys on this season, like, they cannot man up and just say what is going on. Like, I just don't understand it. I'm like, if you cannot wait till the show is over and start dating, what is wrong with you? It's like Ryan from, I think it was the Houston seasons. Like, you're at the end of the season and then you just start trying to connect with other women before the process is over. It's like, where's the self-discipline? Like, I just don't understand it.
I couldn't stop laughing when Emily confronted Brennan on FaceTime. I could even hear most of what he was saying, but I think she was just calling him names and just cursing at him. But he really saw a side of her.
I think that's more just frustration on her part, where you can tell she's putting in the effort and he wasn't. The only good thing he did this whole entire season was take care of her after her near-death experience. Outside of that, there's nothing good he's done this whole time. I think she just wanted him to admit on camera about the crap he did, and he wouldn't take the bait for that because he wants to come across nice as a good person, as we know him to be, apparently.
Then we have the girls getting together, and Chloe was like, just let me know what's going on. And when they were talking about whatever they were talking about in their marriages and how it was downhill, and Chloe was just shaking her head like, I don't want to be a part of this.
Yeah, I don't feel Chloe should have been there for that particular conversation, knowing that her marriage is, or at least she gets along with her husband. This is more like, I guess, a producer-led thing, because there's no reason for Chloe to be there. She doesn't have the strong enough bond with the other ladies to be there. You can tell it's like she felt out of place just because of what was going on. She looked confused. I would be too, just coming in there, not knowing what's going on, how bad these dudes are to begin with. And later, Brennan comes back to the apartment to come get his stuff. And he actually spoke to Emily, which I didn't think he would do. And they end up hugging for whatever reason. I'm like, if you guys dislike each other that much, I'm like, if I don't like you, don't speak to me. I'll make it very clear. If I don't like you, we don't need to talk. We don't gotta be cordial, nothing. Just act like I'm not there. Act like I'm invisible, like you treated me this whole season. That's how I would take it if I'm Emily. But he got his crap and left so he can join his BFF, Austin.
Well, that's all we have for episode 19. What are your thoughts on episode 19? We'd love to hear from you. Please put your thoughts in the comments. Please continue to like and comment and subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos.
Finally, we're at decision day for the other couples who are not Michael and Chloe. So hopefully this can wrap up very soon so we can get on to Chicago, hopefully later on, like months down the line. But that's all we got. See you guys later.
Bye.